Hello, and welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come for to you to inspire, to encourage, and empower you to live a healthier lifestyle. The purpose of this podcast is to bring you ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Um, we want to showcase knowledge as well as special speakers and things. So I try to provide um, workshops, speakers to, because I don't know everything, okay? But as we go along. But before we begin, I have some special guests for you this evening. They're really good friends of mine. But before we move on, I have a few little housekeeping things that I need to do. And the first one will be for those of you who are watching on Facebook, you know that you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me to earn money to make more content. Also, you can also contact me if you like. I want to show you my website. This is my website. I have a bit that is my website. So this is my website. So if you want to contact me to be a sponsor or to be a guest on my show, you can use this. You can go there, find me, click on my picture, and do all of the little things that also that needs to be done. You can do it in that one place. But however, if you just want to reach out to me and just talk to me about it beforehand, you can always email me, and you can email me at this email here at the bottom of the screen. Also, I do take donations, and I take donations through Cash App, and this is my Cash App thing. And before we begin, I also would like for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that is it there. So, I'm going to tell you about our guests here real quickly, and then we're going to break for a commercial. And then we are going to come back and they will be on the show. Now, Jonathan and Sandy Miller are founders or co founders of the Sounds Good Choir. And I know most of you have heard me talk about the Sounds Good Choir because this is how I met them through my mother. I took them to their choir. And so I want to tell you a little bit. I don't want to tell you everything because I want them to talk, but I'm just going to give you a little background information on both of them. Okay, starting with Jonathan is an artistic director and co-founder of the Sounds Good Choir. Now he has been in choral music um, with the Chicago Children's Choir. Do you all remember that? Those of you who are here in Chicago, that's what I mean. You know, I know it's people everywhere, but do you all remember that? Now, so he has been doing music for a long time. Um, he combines the role of musicians and art entrepreneurs, and he's conducted singers at all skill levels from complete to professional. And speaking because you know I'm not a professional, but I'm gonna tell you, I was in the choir and I enjoyed that choir. I enjoyed it just like my mother. I enjoyed it. I looked forward to going to it. So in 1993, he founded the Virtual Soul Ensemble, Chicago a cappella, and served as its artistic director for 27 years. And then he co-founded the Sounds Good Choir. And I don't know if you all realize, but the Sounds Good Choir is for adults 55 and older. And so, you know, I talked about summer fun and what people can do. And I've given activities for everyone. And this is a great activity for seniors. So I just wanted to say that. Oh, he's got it. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about himself when he comes on, because both of them are full of recognition. So let me tell you about his wife, Sandy. She is Sandy Siegel Miller. She's a PhD, co-founder of the Sounds Good Choir, NFP, and program directory of Good Memories Choir. She's also a reverend, and she's a clinical psychologist who has worked in the private practice in the western suburbs for more than 30 years. Her work with older adult choirs is a major pivot from her clinical work with children and adolescents. So I'm going to do the same thing that I told you I was going to do with Jonathan. I'm going to bring them on and let them tell you a little bit more about themselves. So we're going to take a little break here, and we're going to go to a commercial. And when we come back, they will be on. Bear with me just a few moments. I got it.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Great to
I
see
am
you.
so glad to have you on. It's such an honor. You just don't know. It's just
Thank
really
you.
and truly an honor to have you on. And so, I tried to tell a little bit about each one of you in your bio. And so I'm going to ask you that one question that I kind of told you I was thinking about. But in that, can you kind of incorporate a little more of your bio? I didn't want to just blurt it all out. So my first question, and this is really to both of you, tell the audience about how the choirs, make sure you let them know how many you have, and how the choirs got started.
Sure. Well, thanks. I'll start. Since we're co-founders, we do everything together, and we sometimes finish each other's sentences. So if we do that, don't be surprised. Thank you for the gracious introduction. First and foremost, it's really an honor and a pleasure for us to be on the show together here. As Anna said, I've been in choirs my whole life. When I was 9, I joined the Chicago Children's Choir, which is now called Uniting Voices Chicago. After my voice changed and I was 13 singing bass, they didn't kick me out because they had a bass section, and I just kept singing and kept singing. And I think it was partly because I was so inspired by the founder of the Chicago Children's Choir, the late Reverend Dr. Christopher Moore, who really had a vision for what a choir could do and be in people's lives. I've carried that ever since. And when I was in my late 20s, I decided it was time for me to try to create a brand new professional virtuoso vocal ensemble, different from everything out there. So it wasn't going to be a Renaissance music choir. It wasn't going to be a vocal jazz choir. It was going to be a really eclectic choir of fantastic singers. And that's what Chicago a cappella has been for the last 30 years. And as part of that, I started doing arrangements, because there are some great songs out there, but not everything is arranged for a cappella voices. So I got pretty good at arranging music for choir. And then I decided that it would be fun to take, I have a series of what I call wacky Christmas carols. So it makes Cindy laugh. So imagine that you have the music of one Christmas carol to the tune of another Christmas carol. I started doing this literally one day. I was driving down the Eisenhower Expressway. I think it was July, and it was 2011. I thought, what if you took the words to Jingle Bells and the Hallelujah Chorus and switched them? So I'm singing to myself in the car, hallelujah, 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 for the Lord God omnipotent reigneth, hallelujah, the kingdom of this world. And then I thought, this could really work. So I went home and sang it to Sandy and tried to make it all fit together. And by the time I went to bed that night, I had a pretty decent piece.
And
I
the
thought,
other half of it goes
jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, right?
Yeah.
In a one horse, in a one horse, in a one horse open sleigh. So I wrote this all up and I gave it to Chicago a cappella to sing at their Christmas concert. I think it was 2011. That's on YouTube also. Just click at Jingle Bells Hallelujah Chorus. It got like 30,000 hits in 6 weeks, and it was sort of, a minor smash for me. And I got some inquiries literally from choral conductors around the world who somehow had seen this thing, and they said, can I buy a couple copies of this piece for my choir? So I said, sure. So this went on for 6 or 9 months. I sold 15 copies to a choir in Australia and 20 copies to a choir in Germany and so on. Had a little website for that. One day I get a call from a lady who says, I'd like to buy some copies of your sheet music. I'm, being polite. Yes, ma'am. How many would you like? She said, I'd like 550, please. So that made me sit up a little straighter. And I said, that's very interesting. Thank you for your business. Who in the world are you? And she said, my name is Gene Kelly, and I'm the founder and artistic director of Encore Creativity in Washington, D.C., which is the largest choral music organization for older adults in the country. And we've been around at that point for 15 years, and we love your piece and we'd love to do it. So I said, okay, that's cool. And she ended up buying 800 copies. And that paid for me and Sandy to fly to Washington, D.C. to hear 250 of their singers perform it in the lobby of the Kennedy Center, which is what they did. And we had dinner with Jean and her husband, and some other composers were there. It was a rollicking good time. And Jean said, we have a couple affiliate choirs around the country, and if you'd ever want to bring this idea to Chicago, that would be a fun for us. And Sandy and I are like, yeah, that'd be, when we retire, maybe someday. So that's how we met them. And then we had a really wretched year, what we call our Job year, our Book of Job year in 2015. You want to take a little of that? Or
2015 came along.
You don't have to only give the bad news. I can give some of the bad news.
It was mostly bad news that year.
It was a hard year.
In May of that year, beginning of May of that year, my 93-year-old mom died suddenly. Although I sometimes say, how sudden could it be? She was 93 after all. But at the end of that month, Jonathan's dad died.
Oh my God.
He had liver cancer. We were expecting that.
A long battle with cancer. A few months later, John's stepmother died.
Oh my God.
A month after that, our cat, Maggie, died. And at the end of the year, Jonathan lost his job. So it was just one of those years.
Yeah. I was working in music publishing. I kept my job with Chicago a cappella, which was very part-time, but my main bread and butter was this job in music publishing. And next thing you know, that was not there.
So, you know how it is. I think sometimes there are lessons in those difficult times of our lives. And I said to Jonathan, if we haven't learned anything else by this, we've learned life is short and we should be doing the things that really matter in our lives because time is precious. So we just put our heads together. Jonathan did some thinking about what would he really like to do in this world? What was he meant to do in this world with whatever time he has and we have left? And out of that came the revisiting of the idea of doing a choir like the one in Washington, D.C.
And God bless you, Sandy, because Sandy said, we've got some money saved up. You don't have to just shoot at anything that moves. We can take a year, to try to build something. So I said, let's go crazy and see what we can build. So
we took that literally.
So because I had a little bit of a following already from Chicago a cappella, we kind of used that to get started. So Chicago a cappella gives choirs in Evanston. So we started a Sounds Good choir in Evanston. At that time, we were called Encore, Illinois. But we did a choir on Tuesday mornings in Evanston, and a choir in Hyde Park on Wednesday mornings, where we also had a following, and that's the neighborhood I grew up in
That
on the
was the
south
beginning
side.
of 2016.
And that we did a 6-week spring session. That went really well. We had like 35 singers in each choir. And then we did a summer session where we did those choirs and added 2 more, one downtown and one in Hinsdale. We live out here in the western suburbs. And then in the fall, we added one in Oak Park, conducted by our colleague Linda Powell, and another one that I did in Arlington Heights, and the commuting was crazy. But
we were off and running.
But by the end of 2016, we had 6 choirs and about 200 singers. And in June of that year, go ahead.
So that's the beginning of Sounds Good Choir. The beginning of Good Memories Choir started, as Jonathan said, in the middle of 2016.
Let me stop you, Sandy, because first, I know what Good Memories is, but you got to tell them. They need to know what Good Memories is.
Thank you.
Of it.
Yes, thank you. So Sounds Good, as Jonathan said, is our choirs for older adults, 55 and up, although we joke that we don't card. Good Memories Choir is a choir specifically for people in early stage dementia, living at home, still living at home with their care partners. And a care partner can be a family member, as it was for Anna and her mom. It can be a paid care partner, a friend. We have all of those combinations in our choir. So it's a very special place for all of us to sing together and have joy and community. So.
And all of our choirs have no audition. So even though our conductors are professional and we aspire to put on a really good concert, you don't ever have to sing in a choir in order to be part of this.
Right.
But I just want to say this, but when you sing, you sound professional. When I don't know what they're doing, but they have a little gift. And I'm not just saying, because I've done it both ways, I've done it in person and I've done it virtual.
Yeah.
And both, it's just fabulous. So if you get a chance, go to the YouTube channel and check it out, because it is on YouTube. Okay. Go ahead, Sandy. I'm sorry to break in. I just had how you get that moment.
Well, thanks, Dana.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Awesome. And you know us so well.
That's right. And far better to be talking about good memories if people really know what it is. So 2016, we're busy creating choir after choir after choir. But in June, Jonathan linked up with a colleague, a choral conducting colleague, who told Jonathan about a choir in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities, that he was serving on, had just joined their board of directors. And he described the choir to Jonathan. It's a relatively new organization and providing choirs for people with memory loss and their care partners singing together. And he said, Jonathan, you've got to come up and see this. It's the most incredible thing. So Jonathan came home from meeting with his colleague and told me about it. And somehow we just felt like we did have to go up there and see what it was all about. So we jumped on a plane in October of that year, went up and spent a day with the Giving Voice organization. That's the name of the organization in Minnesota, who has as their mission to help people like us start a choir for people with dementia. That's their goal. We went up, spent a day with them, cried most of the day watching their rehearsal and
so beautiful,
being with the people. And literally on the airplane on the way home, we pulled out our laptop and said, we've got to do this. Let's start working on a budget. And I don't know about you, Anna, but it felt like a calling. It felt like one of those God things where God just says, you have to do this. You simply have to do it.
Yeah.
So it took us 2 years to raise enough money to start the first Good Memories Choir, which was on Michigan Avenue in the Gold Coast of Chicago. And now we have 2 Good Memories Choirs. We have 2 that are thriving but growing since they had a difficult time during the pandemic. But it's a very special place. of, singing and joy and community. And as Jonathan said, there are no auditions. We all wear a name tag that says our name, but it doesn't say my name's Sandy and I'm the director, and your name's Anna and you're a care partner, and this is so and she has dementia. It's just, this is who we are. This is my name, and we're all here to be together and sing together and enjoy time of community, a very special community.
I will agree. Speaking from personal experiences, and what was so wonderful about it, they do have volunteers, and you don't know who is who. You don't know who's the volunteer. You don't know who's the professional. You just don't know. It's such a warm environment. But the food is good too.
We always
All about the snacks.
so good memories has snacks. Sounds good. It sounds good. We cracked the whip a little more.
Well, that's where I was. That was my home. Was the
That's right.
Right.
good
Snacks
good
and
memories.
good memories.
I
are
did
very,
branch out a little bit, and I plan to branch out again in the fall. I'm gonna go to the one in Hyde Park.
great.
Oh,
You're
Because
always
it's closer to me.
love having you in
come
the
back
alto
and
section.
sing.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so
Absolutely.
yeah, so
Mom.
I think maybe we should. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
The one thing I would like to add is two things actually, sort of, because we were talking about origins, and
Okay.
and you were talking about before the show backstage with us about how people you don't always know how people are going to help you along.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've had models to follow, really good models to follow for both of our choirs is a sweet blessing. It's the name of your show.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the people at Encore, who are still really good colleagues, even though Gene Kelly's retired, they really blazed the trail for high quality, non-auditioned older adult choirs, and the people in Minnesota at Giving Voice have been beloved colleagues with us for more than 5 years. But what really sold me, had us get on the plane in the first place to go to Minnesota, was my friend Brian Newhouse said that you can't, about 30 or 45 minutes into the rehearsal, you can't tell in the choir who has dementia and who's a volunteer and who's a care partner, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. There's something really special about singing and music for all of us, and I think for all of our brains, but maybe particularly for people with dementia.
Yeah, there's an energy that comes with singing. It's anyone who's ever sung knows, and researchers, we'll get to that in just a minute, are starting to understand that a little more.
Well, we're going to break for another short little commercial. You're going to love this one.
Great.
Thank you.
And then we're going to come back, and I want you to let the viewers know about how they can get in contact with you if they want to join the choir and, those type of things. So
Great.
All righty. Let us go to commercial real quick.
Oh my goodness, the mailman came. I hope my sweet little thing cookie's in here. I just hope it's in here. Let me see. Let me open this up. That's it. Sweet little thing cookie. That sweet little thing cookie. Oh, I'ma have me a ball now. Let me just get this right here. Little thing cookie. That sweet little thing cookie. Oh yeah. I finally got my cookies. This sweet little thing cookies. Oh yeah. I'ma have fun. This package kind of big though. Man, it got a lot of cookies. Oh yeah, this the best thing ever. I'm trying to tell you, I got my cookies, and I'm gonna eat these cookies, and ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Okay. That's the early childhood part of me.
That was cute. That's very cute.
A friend that did that for me. I just think it's so cute because I'm in the early childhood. That's my
That's
thing.
right.
Okay, so
Awesome.
and I just thought that was just wonderful. So I would do that. But I know you have several choirs, but I think the people would like to know how they can get in contact with you, and what do they need to do to register if they wanted to register. So I'm going to let you all talk about that just a little bit.
Sure. Thank you, Anna. If you look at the bottom of our screen, you can see the scrolling of our website. It's just soundsgoodchoir.org. As Anna mentioned, we've got registration for our fall session. We have a 15-week choir fall session. It starts right after Labor Day. We have concerts in December. Each of our concerts rehearses once a week for an hour and a half. And we have choirs in Hyde Park on the south side, on the Gold Coast, Evanston, Oak Park River Forest, Wheaton Glen Ellen, Hinsdale, and Arlington Heights. Those are our 7 Sounds Good choirs. We have the Good Memories Choir on Tuesday mornings downtown, and our Evanston choir on Wednesday morning is what we call a dementia-friendly choir, in that anyone who's dealing with early stage memory loss can join and be part of that choir. And we have trained volunteers there in Evanston, just the way we do downtown. Registration for 15 weeks is $195. That includes everything: your sheet music, professionally produced practice tracks to make it easier to learn your part, all the concerts you can possibly cram into your busy schedule so you can sing as many. We have one person who sings in all 7 concerts. He's
Wow.
amazing. And other people sing in many. And for anybody who is in financial circumstances such that that fee is a problem, we have a reduced tuition program. All you have to do is email us at info@soundsgoodchoir.org. That's info@soundsgoodchoir.org. Tell us you need reduced tuition, and you can do all that for $50. No questions asked. We want everybody in the choir who loves to sing. And that's all you have to do if you want to be part of the choir, because we have no audition. And registration goes through September. Some people like to come and check us out for a rehearsal or two to see if it's a good fit before they commit and sign up, and that's totally okay. So our website has all of the locations, all the times. We don't have to get into that now, but it's a very thorough website. If you'd like to support our work, if you're inspired by what we do, we are a nonprofit. We're supported partly by registration fees and also in large part by the donations of people who love our mission and want to be generous. So just go to soundsgoodchoir.org/donate and you can get involved that way.
Okay. I'd also like to announce that we have some upcoming concerts very soon in the next couple of weeks. Our concerts are always free to the public, so come one, come all. And the dates for the concerts are...
So this concert is, just to build on what Sandy's saying, this is our summer rock and roll concert. Yes. So we have a very hot professional rock band with 4 of the best professional players in the city. The first one is Monday night, July 31st at 7 p.m. in Downers Grove at St. Andrew's Church. The next one is Wednesday night, August 2nd at Temple Bethel in Northbrook. The one after that is Tuesday night, August 8th at Pilgrim Congregational Church in Oak Park. And the last one of the summer is Thursday, August 10th at 2 p.m. at our downtown home, Fourth Presbyterian Church, right on Michigan Avenue across from Water Tower Place. And all of that is on our website, soundsgoodchoir.org.
So come and check us out.
Yeah, it's nice. They give some nice concerts. I know I had a ball. I'm not going to tell you. I really had a ball. My mother had a ball, and it was really, I'm going to be honest with you, it really was like family. I mean,
yeah,
people took you under their wings, and they did, all kinds of things. I'm so busy on this. People are making comments, y'all, and I'm just...
So sweet.
So look, this is the Tina Ramsey Show. This is Dr. Tina Ramsey. This is the person I was telling you all about before that reached out to me.
Hi to Tina.
Hi Tina. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. And then also she's saying, "Wow, that's great." Okay, but yes, and then she also says, summer rock and roll concert.
You should
So,
come, Sheila.
We're
It's
gonna
super
rock the
fun.
house. We're
Super
gonna rock the house.
fun.
yeah, it is. It is truly, truly fun, and I just really believe that it is a gift that what they're doing, because singing is good for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. We're going to take another little short commercial break. And then we're going to come back because they are part of a research project that is being done at Northwestern Hospital. And I want them to kind of shed some light on that for us. So we're going to take a brief moment for this in this brief for this commercial, and we'll be right back. Hi.
That was short.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, so I think it's just a beautiful thing what's going on, what you all are doing. And I don't know too much about research and the brain. And, we really don't know too much about the brain. I found that out when my mother was ill. And that the only way, truly and truly, that they can study patients with dementias after they have passed away, and the patients donate their
Yeah.
brains for research, so it's trial and error, really. But some of the research that I have read about singing just does wonders for a person that has dementia. So I'm going to let them talk to you about the research that they're doing. I think it's beginning to start. It's in the beginning phases of it.
Yep.
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Well, thanks, Anna. And you're correct that there's so much that we don't know about the brain in general, and there certainly is a lot that we don't know about the effects of singing. What we see and what others have told us about, and we certainly see ourselves in our choirs, particularly our choirs for people with dementia, is that there's something that happens when people sing. We notice in our singers that there's a difference between how they present at the beginning of our choir session and how they look at the end.
You mean a rehearsal, 90 minutes?
Rehearsal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true.
They're more alert. They're often more verbal, and have more affect and are just calmer sometimes. And we've had we've seen all these things for ourselves, and we've heard so many stories about how good singing is for people. But there's very little scientific evidence of that. There's not very much research about singing in general, and even less research about the effect of singing in a choir, which has its own effect because it's a group activity. So we decided quite a few years ago that we wanted to contribute to that scientific literature and give greater validity and emphasis on what it is that we see happening every day in our rehearsals and in our performances. So it took quite a few years to do this. As you probably know, if you've ever been part of a good team of anything, it takes a while to assemble the right team. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started talking with psychologist colleagues of mine, some of whom are in the research world or in medical centers around the city, and reached out to some of my former colleagues from Rush, because I was at Rush Medical Center, and then put together a research team, including my colleagues from Rush and our principal investigator, who is a neurologist from Northwestern's Alzheimer's Center.
Excuse me, I'm going to go take care of the dog. I'll be right back.
Silence the dog. Thank you, Jonathan. And we put together a project to look at the positive effects of singing in a choir. So we're beginning that research project this fall with the beginning of our fall choir session, and we'll be investigating by using pencil and paper inventories that'll actually be administered online, to have people document what happens when they sing, and does singing in a choir have a positive effect, and we feel like this is just the beginning. Our principal investigator is Dr. Borna Banakdarpour from the Meslem Center, which is the Alzheimer's Center at Northwestern, and I'm joined by some of the two of my colleagues from the Rush Alzheimer's Center as well. So it's a mighty team, what Dr. Banakdarpour calls the dream team, and we're delighting working together, and we're really excited about being able to contribute to the medical and scientific literature in this area.
Oh, that is great. I am excited about that because there is so much limited research that has been done on, and you really don't really realize it until you're affected by it. Okay?
Yes, that's right.
I just want to let you know it's okay. You know that your dog wants to be.
He does.
Yeah.
I may actually come and put him on our laps. He'll be happy with that.
Well, I already noticed that he had come up and you was petting it. That's why, that's why they're in where?
Yes. We heard where Anna put her cats before the podcast started.
Yeah. All my friends, even though when I go live, other lives, I do other lives. So when it's just the best that way. But it's okay. It's all good because we're family, and you got animals.
We'll introduce you to
It's
Moses.
just lovely.
I just wanted to be on like everybody else. That's it. I'm fine.
He's our TV dog.
I know. Look, he's so happy.
I know, exactly.
He loves it.
No. Well,
lovely
also, Sandy, you all do something else. The sing-alongs.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Okay. The sing-along program started during the COVID pandemic. And at the time that the pandemic hit, as Jonathan mentioned, we had 2 choirs for people with dementia and 11 other choirs. And I noticed right away when we had to pivot suddenly to doing rehearsals on Zoom and making online recordings and practicing alone in our living room and finding out how badly we sing when we're all by ourselves. It had a particularly negative effect for my singers with dementia. And I think the combination of the strange experience of Zoom, which we're now feels not so strange, I suppose, but that plus the technology challenges, what I saw was that I was losing people with dementia. And I was concerned about that, because we wanted to keep everyone singing. I was also concerned because in losing that, we were also losing them as part of the community. And I was worried about a lot of them. As you remember, people, particularly people with dementia, were literally locked in their rooms in care facilities and couldn't interact with anybody. And the last thing I wanted was for us to even lose track of them, electronically. So I started to think about how can we simplify the musical part so that people aren't having to practice their alto part or their tenor part in a 4-part, harmony. How can we simplify the music and create a program where we can just get together and sing songs that we already know, and have time together and fun and a little bit of chatting as well. So we put together the sing-along program, which is a program of a weekly program that goes by a theme each week. So one week it might be music of Frank Sinatra, and the next week it might be
Nat King Cole.
And then the following week it might be rock and roll tunes or Christmas songs, it's presented on the screen with the lyrics on the screen and the music playing in the background, and we all just sing.
Yeah, it's a free online sing-along over Zoom. And again, if you look at our website, soundsgoodchoir.org, the nice thing about the sing-alongs is you can sign up for those anytime, all year round. It's just a drop-in. So if you want to show up one Friday, you can. If you want to show up another Friday, you can. If you need to take the week off, that's cool. And one of the neat things about the sing-alongs is it got us connected to the area agencies on aging, which are these wonderful nonprofits that get money from Health and Human Services, from the federal government, and distribute it around the states and the regions on behalf of older adults. And so those sing-alongs are funded by the 2 suburban area agencies on aging. And we're very happy that for our Spanish-speaking friends, Sandy just worked with me and a brilliant musician, a man named Juan Diaz, who's the executive director of the Sones de Mexico Ensemble. Starting on Thursday, August 3rd, we're going to start a year of free Spanish online sing-alongs where all the narration, all the songs, all the tech support is all going to be in Espanol. So spread the word about that on the first and third Thursdays of the month. That's going to be fantastic.
Okay, that's really interesting. Oh, I see so many things is basically is going on. I'm glad to see that. And is there anything else you want to tell me about the study or the sing along, or no?
About the study, as I mentioned, the study begins with our fall session. Registration for fall is open right now.
Okay.
And I invite anybody to come join the choir and join the study. And the study will have 3 points of data collection where we ask people to fill out inventories. The last one will be in December after our December concerts. So please come and be part of our study and contribute to science and to our knowledge about the brain and music.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about the study is that what the study is, how we're measuring things, is this is an online questionnaire that takes about 15 or 20 minutes to complete. It's going to be the same questionnaire all 3 times. The first time is in August before choir even starts. The second time is right when choir starts in September. And the third one is in December, as Sandy said. What's cool is we're going to ask people to fill out, answer questions about all different kinds of well-being. How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing socially? How are you doing physically? How are you doing intellectually? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling depressed? What's your purpose in life feeling like right now? And because all of these things, our well-being is not one-dimensional. Just because as human beings we're not one-dimensional. So we want to try to see with this study, does being in our choir move the needle at all for people? And if so, how? And it's a pilot study. So when you do a pilot, it's like what the Zen masters call beginner's mind. There's stuff you don't know. So you go into it in learning mode. After the pilot's done, we're going to see what we got. We're going to see what went well. We're going to see what maybe we could have done better. We're going to
do it.
See where we can tighten up the study. And then in the second version of the study, which we're hoping to do a year from now, we'll hopefully do a better study and keep learning more stuff. It's really cool.
It is cool. It's nice. It's really nice. Now, is this just for the good memories, or is all the choirs going to be?
Everybody. We've already got 175 people signed up for the study for fall session, and we can use hundreds more. Yep. So if you're interested in being part of this, as I said, you can sign up right now if it sounds like fun. You can come in September and see if it feels like a good idea. And if it does, you can sign up at that point and stick around.
Right. You can go on our website and find other ways to contact us directly. If you have specific questions, we'd be happy to talk about it.
And since we are called the Sounds Good Choir, and since Anna was kind enough to say earlier that we sound pretty good, you can go to our YouTube channel. Just look up Sounds Good Choir when you're on YouTube, and you can hear all kinds of stuff. You can hear our concerts. You can hear interviews. You can even hear our practice tracks because they're up there for free. So if you want to see what it's like to sing along with Who Put the Bump and the Bump, a Bump, a Bump, you can try that right now. And That's just part of the learning
I
environment.
hope
that
what
we
you
provide.
can't see are some of the goofy things that Jonathan and I did during the pandemic. People laughing. I hope those are gone.
Yeah, we had to do so much wacky stuff. But I have to say, I want to give a shout out. Speaking of people that do wonderful things for you, about 250 people stayed with us during all of lockdown, went the extra mile, and sang with us online. What that meant was they did these crazy online rehearsals with us, whereas our friend Jenna said, I'm singing by myself out of tune in my living room. And then they recorded themselves and uploaded it to our portal. And we turned it all, you were part of this, Anna. We turned
Yes.
it all into the virtual choir video with everyone's heads like the Brady Bunch. And people did this for 2 years when nobody could do anything else. And what we found actually is the people that did that actually improved because they had to learn to listen to themselves critically. Most of them had never heard their own voice by themselves. And I mean, I'm a professional singer. I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. Even I was like, dang, I don't sound so good today.
And the rest of us never sang solos until that moment.
The very first song I did 23 takes before I found
I was just getting ready to say, you don't realize how many takes I did before I sent it in, and it's just, oh my God, I would be up late at night doing that. I'm
crazy, crazy, and then the phone falls off the stand and all that crazy stuff. But I guess just another thing I want to say is that when you are a nonprofit, as we are, it is so beautiful and humbling when people decide that they want to support your work in all the different ways that they do. Anna is actually on our board of directors, and she's been one of our champions for a long time. And it's been such a blessing to get to know you and get to know your mom of blessed memory, and the beautiful relationship that the two of you had is such an inspiration to us. And your mom was always a buoyant spirit. You are a buoyant spirit, and we're just so grateful to be able to come on and share with your audience about what we do.
And people share all kinds of gifts with us. I mean, certainly monetary, but as you know, Anna, people's gifts take many forms, and we have people who share their time and their talents as well as their treasure, and we are, so blessed by that.
Yeah, well, I am just so thankful, and thank you for those kind words that you just gave about me. But I'm gonna really say that I truly feel like these are ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things, and they need to be more people need to know about their gift and what they're doing. So we're going to take one more little commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to see if Jonathan and Sandy want to leave us with a few words. Okay? All right. I'll be right back. Thanks.
The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is a magazine that embraces and celebrates the entire homeschooling experience. Our magazine is different from all the rest because we provide beneficial information and assistance in homeschooling, business, wellness, mental health, resources, and life. We encourage you to pick up a copy of our magazine today on Amazon.com by simply searching the Homeschooling Interactive Magazine. The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is all about impacting the world through home-based learning, helping to de-stress the homeschooling experience. Get your copy from Amazon today.
All righty. So, last question of the evening is, what do you want to leave us with? And I want both of you to
go ahead, sweetheart,
to answer that.
Thank you, Anna.
It's a great question. What I'd like to leave you with is, one of the things that you might be hearing about right now in the news is that, our country is in an epidemic of loneliness, and people literally are dying from loneliness and lack of connection. So what I'd like to leave you with is, something we all know, but sometimes we forget, we need each other. We need each other all the time. Human beings were not meant to be alone. And so part of what we're about is just trying to connect people, trying to create communities and meaning in people's lives, so that no one has to be alone. And one of the things we know about our brains, and this is data that's just coming out, that when people sing together, their brain waves actually sync up and start to, alpha and beta waves start to move together. So not only do our hearts connect, I think, when we do things like singing, but our brains do as well. So we need each other for many, many reasons.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful, Jonathan.
Yeah, for me, Anna, I would say that, for me, singing has been probably the number one source of inspiration in my life. It unlocks my heart. It's the way I communicate. It's the way I teach. It's the way I pray. It gives meaning to my life. And, we've been talking a lot on this show tonight about how singing is good for you, but it's also just so much fun. And even if you don't sing with us ever, I just want to encourage everyone, find some place in your life to sing, even if it's just in the car, even if it's just in the shower, even if it's just on our sing along, even if, and there is something, I mean, I feel like I was a nerdy little boy at 9 years old when I joined the Chicago Children's Choir, and I didn't have a lot of friends. And that was a place where I found my group and I found my tribe. And choral music has always been a place of connection and joy, and it's just so much fun. I always feel better after I sing. I don't know anybody who doesn't feel better after they sing than they did before. And we've all been given a voice, so let's use the voices that we have. And I think that's, if each one of us is happier, it's a happier world. So whether it's singing or not, find your joy and do it all the time, and that's going to help lift the whole world up.
Amen.
Yes, it will. Well, I want to thank you both for blessing me with your time this evening to share about the Sounds Good and Good Memories Choir, because I think that's something that everybody needs to know about. And to my audience, I just want to say to you, I hope that this evening we have inspired you. I hope that we have encouraged you. And I also hope that we have empowered you to live a healthier lifestyle. Singing is very good for you. And so before I close, I always have to end with my 3 L's. And so the first one is to live. Make sure you live your life to the fullest. It's very important that you have fun in life because life is short. And so you want to think about those things and do things that make you feel good. Then the second one is to laugh. Make sure you laugh. Find some way in your day that you can just laugh because it's good for you. But don't forget to laugh about yourself because you do crazy things. So you got to laugh about yourself. And it just makes you feel good once you get that good laugh out. And then the last thing is to love. Make sure you love. Love is very important. And I always tell people what my grandmother said because sometimes people say, well, I can't love everybody. And so my grandmother would say, oh, yes, you can. But you just have to love those with a long wooden spoon. So I also want you to remember that the most important thing that you need to love is yourself, because self-love is what's going to make you happy. Self-love. And so with that, I'm going to thank Sandy and Jonathan for coming on. And I'm going to bid you all adieu as we leave out this evening. And just hold on. I'm ready. Got a few little things to show you before we leave, but here we go.